Greetings and welcome to episode 144 of the Words About Gamescast, the weekly video game podcast for Words About Games. I'm your host, Amy Alexander, and I'm joined this week by Keith Robinson. I tried to do an no-look grab for my phone because I realised my phone was behind me. This is why you should look when you're grabbing at things.
Yeah. I also see you forgot to put up anything in that location you normally put stuff.
What location? Oh, yeah. Oh, I gave up on that.
Yeah.
I retired Jill back to the shelf behind me because, well, I'm not playing Resident Evil. I just finished Leon A in 2 hours, 29 minutes. To unlock the Samurai Edge, and it was very stressful to try and go through the game that fast. And then someone posted a video of the world record is 54 minutes, and I was like, I was literally just trying to finish the game in less than 3.5 hours. So I can get the unlimited ammo pistol. So when I do stream the second runs, I have a pistol that doesn't run out of bullets. That was it.
Yeah, I've done probably half an hour because I played a bit of it, and then I was like, I really shouldn't have jumped over that wall where I can't get back down again. I've obviously messed up because I can't seem to get back to the main lobby room. I'll just go back to the safe spot.
Okay.
And then I'm pretty sure I had to do that anyway. So.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think, unless you run out of ammo on a boss fight, which I've seen happen to someone, I don't think you can screw yourself to a point where you can't continue. I don't think. Again, though, I played Claire normally and then speed ran, and I use air quotes because it's not a speed run. And then I'm going to be doing my Leon B and Claire B scenarios on stream. I would have done it today or Saturday, but I was playing the Anthem demo, which has shut my brain down a bit. It's really strange. I was simultaneously having a good time, but also a bit bored. At the same time. Go figure. I don't know how that works, but yeah.
You just constantly seem to be fighting against overwhelming numbers of creatures and running out of ammo.
Yeah, that's an accurate description of the Anthem gameplay loop. It was very strange. Because that's pretty much it. It was partially my own fault because we did free play for the last hour, so we were just flying around trying to find stuff. Not doing any missions or anything, but it was a bit weird where it was just this is kind of just the same thing over and over again.
Yeah. And your missions didn't seem to be solo.
No, it started off quite well, and then I got to the camp with the tank, the walking tank thing, and it was this definitely isn't soloable. This is concerning for someone who's probably going to end up playing most of the game solo, because she doesn't have anyone to squad up with because no one's buying Anthem. Nobody in our group's buying Anthem. So I'm kind of screwed. I don't just for that reason alone, because it was this isn't good. In terms of shit, I can't get through this by myself. Matchmaking might be my only option. Yay, I love playing with random people on the internet. Random people on the internet are the best.
It can be.
It can be, that's true. Sometimes. Rarely. Every now and again. Should we do a podcast that we've agreed upon doing 143 times so far? It's hoping 144 is the one. That hurt my feelings a little bit, not gonna lie. Anyway, let's do the first news story, which is a lot of reading by me, because a second YouTuber was harassed with DMCA compliance by the Escape from Tarkov team. This is from Charlie Hall over at Polygon, who writes, last month, Polygon reported on how Battlestate Games abused the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. Rather than choosing to cite piracy or unfair use of their content, Battlestate told Polygon that it knowingly made 47 spurious claims against a single YouTuber who goes by the name of Rockdick. You might remember we talked about this when we came back, right?
We did,
Battlestate's goal was not to prevent Rockdick from using their content. Instead, it was simply trying to suppress what it termed as misinformation and, quote, negative hype in his videos. Reached for comment, representatives of Battlestate said at the time that the organisation was fully aware it was misusing the DMCA system and defended the company's decision to do so. At the same time, representatives of the Russian-owned company asserted it had never taken such drastic actions against someone before. After a month-long investigation, we've discovered that may not necessarily be true. Shortly after the story was published, a YouTuber who goes by the handle ELD contacted Polygon to say that they too had been the recipient of 47 DMCA claims related to their Escape from Tarkov content. They claimed the reason they were given was that their YouTube videos featured Battlestate's watermark and logo shown on Tarkov's title screen. Many other YouTubers used these images, however. LD believes they were singled out, just like a Rockdick, because of their negative hype. Polygon reached out to Battlestate to confirm LD's claims. It took over a month for the company to respond, at which point it shirked responsibility. Quote, "We have made our internal investigation into the matter. It appears that copyright takedown notices were submitted nearly 8 months ago by Absolute Soft, a company that was developing some parts of Tarkov. To the best of my knowledge, all affected videos are fully accessible now. Following the recent events, we have established an internal procedure to make sure that the company, its employees, and agents are very careful with everything that constitutes a legal process." End quote. But as it turns out, Absolute Soft is more than just a subcontractor. The core of that company, including Tarkov's current project leader and producer Nikita Buyanov, has close ties to Battlestate Games. And then there's some stuff from a preview, blah, 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 blah. Where basically, yes, they do have ties to Tarkov. Anyway, sorry, I'm skipping through because there's a lot here. Even more damning, I'm sure Keith will tell me if I'm skipping anything important. Even more damning, LD says that it was Buyanov himself who personally requested that negative videos be removed from YouTube prior to the DMCA actions by Absolute Soft. Polygon reached out to Battlestate to see if Buyanov was involved in the DMCA claims against LD, but it declined to comment. Furthermore, a representative from Battlestate refused to go into detail about the ongoing relationship between Absolute Soft and their company. Regardless of who personally authorized these DMCA claims or which company made them, they have nonetheless had a serious negative impact on both Rockdick and LD. Both streamers draw a significant portion of their income from playing Escape from Tarkov with and for their communities. Losing their videos even for a month has had a long-lasting effect. And then it talks about how they're using the things as scare tactics because they've lost a lot of subscribers and money and views, and because their videos have been down for like a month plus. So, yeah, Battlestate Games, Escape from Tarkov. They're what's with the number 47? What if you?
I'm sure a mathematician could tell you.
Is there some sort of algorithmical purpose to the fact that they DMCA claim 47 videos at a time? Luckily, this is only the second time we've ever talked about Escape from Tarkov, so we can't get DMCA'd 47 times by Battlestate Games for negative hype. Although, needless to say, I'm probably not going to be touching that game with a 10-foot barge pole.
It's a battle royale.
It's a strange game. Well, it's not a strange game. It seemed kind of cool. Foxes plays it, so I've watched him stream it a couple of times. And there's a lot of inventory management where you sort of gearing yourself up and then you insert yourself into the map, like a multiplayer arena map, to go and get more stuff. Mm-hmm. And obviously there's other players there, so like you can run into them and then you fight. And it can be quite intense. Like, it looked kind of cool from the streams that I've seen of it. But like, if I don't like the game, I don't want to get DMCA'd 47 times for saying I don't like the game. So ergo, I can't make a comment on the quality of Escape from Tarkov. Nor will I probably ever make a comment on the quality of Escape from Tarkov, because I don't plan on playing a game where the developers are spuriously using the DMCA system on YouTube.
Every time you say DMCA, I just keep thinking YMCA.
DMCA.
DMCA.
It's fun to use a
It's fun to fire
DMCA.
that
We need to make a
DMCA.
DMCA theme tune to the tune of YMCA. I mean, it's fucking bullshit, right? Pure and simple.
It's surprising that there's no repercussion or penalty for admitting that you're spuriously using.
Welcome to YouTube. the glorious website of youtube.com, where all of the consequences are foisted onto the content creator, not the person spuriously misusing DMCA tools. I mean, hell, you saw what it took in the Jim Sterling versus Digital Homicide thing. There was like a huge lawsuit. It took years to sort out. Like, YouTube's just bad. I get why they do the things that they do, but they could be so much better at it. It's like Steam. I get why a lot of...
I was going to say, they're the valve of the video.
Much. Like, I get why they do the things that they do, but they could be doing it in better ways. Instead of just having these systems that are just open to abuse. But yeah, I went with that one as the first story because, I mean, there's like 4 or 5 that could have easily been the first story. And that was the longest one, and I wanted to get it out of the way.
That was
the longest one. Just as important as the other ones, but that was a lot of reading.
Yeah, I feel you're going to fire a party popper off in the next one. So.
Party popper. I'm going to say, no shit, Sherlock, when I finish reading this story. EA buckles in Belgium stop selling FIFA points following loot box gambling pressure. Love that smile you just gave me there. This is from Wesley Ian Poole over at Eurogamer, who writes, EA has announced plans to stop selling FIFA points in Belgium following government pressure over loot boxes. In FIFA Ultimate Team, you can spend real-world money on FIFA points, which can then be used to buy card packs. I feel like I read that every single bastard fucking story about EA and loot boxes has that line in it. And I feel like I must have read that about 65 times at this point. Sorry. In September 2018, the Belgian government, which declared loot boxes to be a form of gambling because players don't know exactly which items a box may contain when buying one, launched a criminal investigation into EA after the publisher refused to modify FIFA's randomized card pack loot boxes in order to comply with the country's gambling laws. Belgium's Gaming Commission determined loot boxes found in FIFA 18, Overwatch and Counter-Strike Global Offensive were an illegal game of chance and thus subject to Belgian gambling laws. Following the ruling, Blizzard, Valve and 2K Games all elected to disable loot boxes in their games in Belgium. EA, however, had done nothing until now. Quote, after further discussions with the Belgian authorities, we have decided to stop offering FIFA points for sale in Belgium, end quote. This change will come into effect by the 31st of January, which means it's already in effect, which means from then players in Belgium will not be able to buy points to buy FIFA Ultimate Team packs. They'll still be able to play Ultimate Team and use their existing players, and they'll still be able to obtain FIFA Ultimate Team packs with FIFA Ultimate Team coins, the virtual currency you earn through playing the game. But they will no longer be able to pay to get ahead. Quote, we apologise to our players in Belgium for any inconvenience caused by this change, end quote, EA said. In a statement issued by EA, the company reiterated its belief that loot boxes are not a form of gambling. Belgium isn't FIFA's biggest market, of course, and EA insists the change will not impact its financial performance. Pay close attention to that sentence, I'm going to bring it up in a bit. But you can tell from wording EA isn't happy about the situation. Quote, we seek to bring choice, fairness, value, and fun to our players in all our games. In addition to providing players options in how they play, we include pack probabilities in our games for the transparency players want to make informed content choices. While we are taking this action, we do not agree with the Belgian authorities' interpretation of the law, and we will continue to seek more clarity on the matter as we go forward. The impact of this change to FIFA Ultimate Team in Belgium is not material to our financial performance. Any thoughts there, Keith?
There are so many things wrong with that
The end
sentence.
one. Like that entire statement. It's like, I don't know how long we've got. How long have we got? Like, to be able to point out how wrong everything you just said was.
Yeah, I mean, there is a thing of being too pedantic. Like, it is definitely going to make an impact into the their bottom line that they can't sell it in Belgium. Maybe not a very big
Yeah,
one, maybe
I
a very
mean,
small one, but
it
it
is
is
going to
going to
affect them,
affect
but it's
them.
to the level of, we make so much money, we're not even going to fucking notice. Like, that's the kind of, that's what that statement comes from. You know, that whole video games are expensive to make bollocks. That's why we have to have stuff like this in them. But yeah, it's like, the impact of this change to FIFA Ultimate Team in Belgium is not material to our financial importance. The millions that we're going to lose, or like hundreds of thousands or whatever it is, like, it's not, they're not saying, oh, we're not going to miss it. Oh, well, they are actually. But they're not saying, oh, like, we're not going to notice. They're just going, it doesn't matter. We're still going to make billions from this one game alone. What about?
I mean, they're probably out of the primary earning pays for that anyway.
Yeah, like, it's just mental. Like, because loot boxes are such a fucking money driver. We seek to bring choice, fairness, value, and fun to our players in all our games. Any thoughts on that?
I can agree that maybe loot boxes are fun.
They're a bit too fun. Gambling
You
is
do
fun.
get that home opening the box. Choice. I suppose in a way there's a choice of take loot boxes or don't.
Loot boxes, you make them sound like drugs there. Sorry, take loot boxes. Oh my god, man. I really need this.
Well, I mean, there is that whole thing of the adrenaline you get when you like opening the box and stuff that people have gone into that whole sort of like it's the psychology of like opening them.
It
You don't
is.
know what you're getting. Um, Fairness. I really wouldn't put it down as fairness. The loot box system.
No.
It is literally random.
It's anarchy, right? Value?
Yeah, yeah. There's nothing right? Value, fairness. No, because A, it's completely random, and B, unlike in say Overwatch, where everything you get in it is purely cosmetic, the stuff in these packs does have an impact on the gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
So it cannot be fair.
It cannot be fair, yeah. I mean, it's everything that was wrong with the Battlefront 2 system, right? Like...
well, yeah, it is, but nowhere near as broken.
I mean, the Battlefront 2 system was broken because it was a first-person shooter. Like,
Yeah.
Like, but it's like, here's me having played 10 hours of this game, and here's you having played 10 hours of this game. So you think we're on the same level, but then you've gone out and spent money on these Ultimate Team packs, so you're actually up here. So I mean, I don't know how FIFA works. I don't know how Ultimate Team works. Like, I mean, I know how FIFA works. Mm-hmm. It's a football game, right? You kick the ball into the big net at the other side. That's about as much as I know. And there's something about offside, like, but like,
you play Football Manager. Don't pretend you haven't.
I've played a lot of games, Keith, in my life. Don't expect me to remember how they all bloody work. But yeah, no, just and then the whole thing of we've stopped selling. We've cut. No shit, you've stopped selling them because you're under criminal investigation. You no shit, Sherlock. Like,
yeah, we've decided to. It's like we've decided to comply with the law after all these other people already have. We finally decided when they've launched a criminal investigation of us. When did you launch the investigation? Was a few, months later. It's like the police are at the door. It's like maybe
this isn't gonna blow over, guys. Like maybe we should actually like.
Yeah, it's taking them so long to react to this that I really can't understand.
Well, they were trying to dig their heels in because, like, this is what I never understood, and I never understood it at the time. It's like, okay, it's a year's prerogative to disagree with the gambling commission and say, actually, we don't think our loot boxes are gambling, right? Cool. It's your prerogative to do that. Every other fucking company did when they decided to turn their loot boxes off in Belgium. I remember it was a thing. But like, there's that, but then there's, well, tough. Like, because according to the Belgian Gambling Commission, which sets the gambling laws of the country of Belgium, loot boxes are gambling, so you either turn them off or you are breaking the law. And the defense of "we don't agree with this" isn't a defense. That would be like saying someone who pirates games, like their defense is, "well, I don't agree that this is illegal."
Yeah, I was going to go with the whole thing of George, like, this road used to be 70 miles an hour, so I'll continue driving 70 miles an hour, while there's a gigantic sign and painted on the road 40 miles an hour.
There's like a 40-mile-an-hour speed limit sign. Like, it's like, like, okay, you can disagree, and that's your prerogative.
Yeah.
And I don't really care one way or the other.
You can even write to the government and stuff and complain about the fact that this road has gone from 70 to 40. But you still have to obey that 40 in the meantime until they overturn it. If they ever do, you have to obey the law.
Like, it was the arrogance, I think, that got me. Like, all of the other ones in their statements, like Valve and Blizzard and whoever else it was, 2K Games, where they went, "We're turning it off. We don't agree with the Belgian Gambling Commission's interpretation of their own laws." But the way EA did it, where they were just like, "No, this isn't gambling, mate," and then just did nothing, it was like, that really rubbed me the wrong way, because it was like, oh, we think we're above the law. I hope not. Like, you make video games. Like, I hope you're not above the fucking law. But yeah.
I mean, the outcome of the criminal investigation and them not complying with the law for 4 months? What?
There'll have been something behind the scenes that's triggered them doing this now. Which is probably just like, listen, like probably the guy in charge of the Belgian Gambling Commission was just like called up Andrew Wilson, was just like, listen, mate, you either need to fucking turn these things off, or we're coming to your door and we've got warrants. like
2 things are going to happen on February the 1st. Either A, you've announced like a news story breaks that you've stopped selling loot boxes in Belgium, or B, we put out a warrant for the arrest of your European office head.
And guess which one's going to affect the stock price worse? Do you think it's going to be A, you turning off some loot boxes which will have no material financial impact on your company, or B, the sight of the person who runs your office in Europe being arrested, marched out of the building in handcuffs? And then they've just gone, yeah, shit, we should probably turn these off.
I mean, it's nice to think that that's what's happening, but there'll probably be something in the background of going, listen,
unfortunately.
We know you make a lot of money and stuff, but you're going to have to start obeying the law.
Unfortunately, it was probably was really polite. Because the video game industry isn't a TV show.
It usually is. It's like that whole Google law that they made in Britain, where then Google decided it didn't apply to it.
It's like companies deciding that laws don't apply to them really pisses me off sometimes. But we'll see where it goes from here. I'm sure EA is going to try and challenge the ruling, which again is its prerogative. And I'm all for that. They could have avoided this situation entirely by not being so greedy, but here we are. At the inevitable midpoint. Would you say we're at the midpoint now? Of this crazy wild ride. Speaking of crazy wild rides, Keith, Metro Exodus will only release on the Epic Store, but Steam pre-orders will still be honoured. This is from Samuel Roberts over at PC Gamer, who wrote, Metro Exodus will release solely on the Epic Games Store when it launches on February 15th. Caveat on PC. Don't worry, it's still coming to PS4 and Xbox One. Epic and publisher Deep Silver have revealed. This follows news from earlier this month when it was revealed that Division 2 was coming to Epic's store as part of a multi-game agreement with Ubisoft. If you've already pre-ordered the game on Steam, you'll get to play it on there. Epic's exact words on the subject are that any customer with an outstanding pre-order for Metro Exodus on PC through any digital retailer will receive their game as expected. You can currently pre-order on Steam, but not for long it seems. You'll find this notice now. Later today, sales of Metro Exodus will be discontinued on Steam due to a publisher decision to make the game exclusive to another PC store. The developer and publisher have assured us that all prior sales of the game on Steam will be fulfilled on Steam, and Steam owners will be able to access the game and any future updates or DLC through Steam. We think the decision to remove the game is unfair to Steam customers, especially after a long pre-sale period. We apologise to Steam customers that were expecting it to be available for sale through the February 15th release date, but we are only recently informed of the decision and given limited time to let everyone know. Sully. That's really salty.
I can see why that's salty.
We'll continue on the story. I've got thoughts on that. Intriguingly, the game will cost $50 on the Epic Store in the US when it was originally listed on Steam for the usual $59.99. Epic's competitive revenue split of 88-12 is hinted to be the reason behind the leaner price. Quote, "We are delighted to partner with Epic to bring the digital PC version of Metro Exodus to market," comments Deep Silver CEO Clemens Kondratitz. Epic's generous revenue terms are a game changer that will allow publishers to invest more into content creation or pass on savings to the players. By teaming up with Epic, we will be able to invest more into the future of Metro and our ongoing partnership with series developer 4A Games to the benefit of our Metro fans. End quote. The price on the UK remains unchanged at £50. A later press release received from Deep Silver explained that the game will return to Steam a year after release. Metro Exodus will return to Steam and on other storefronts after 14th of February 2020. The last two paragraphs might read a bit stilted because there are updates. An FAQ on the move from Steam to Epic says that people who ordered a physical edition of Metro Exodus will not be affected, stating, quote, "You will receive your packaged game with a key allowing you to play it," end quote. It does not specify whether the key will be for Steam or the Epic Games Store, but Deep Silver clarified on Twitter today that it will be an Epic key. Will be an Epic key! The key is going to be so epic, man. That's 2 in less than a month. Big games have gone. When I go, no, Steam. It's like that Drake meme. Like, release on Steam, release on Epic Games. Yeah, that's the one. I mean, it's an 88-12 revenue split, and it's quite a highly visible marketplace at this point. As far as Steam calling it unfair, like, I'm sorry, but the amount of times that when they've been making all these algorithms and letting everything like flood Steam, despite people saying this was a very bad idea, they've defended that by talking about the free market. Well, guess what? This is another consequence of free market. Someone can make a competitor, and other people can take their business to that competitor. Like, I mean, I'm not an expert in free market economics, but I mean, it's pretty basic stuff. And if you want to talk about how unfair it is, maybe make your storefront a bit less shitty so that, you know, people don't do this. I don't know. My 2 cents, or 2 pence, because we're not American. I mean, everybody who's pre-ordered the game on Steam is still going to get the game. So I personally, you know, as someone who is a console peasant and has to put up with all of these different exclusivity deals between Microsoft and Sony and Nintendo, I don't really see the big deal. I have currently, if you count the Twitch installer, because you have to have that for your Twitch Prime games, I currently have, looking at my thing, 5 like game clients installed on my PC, and you know what? It's not a bother. When I want to play Anthem, I open Origin. When I want to play Sunless Skies, I open Steam. When I want to play The Messenger, I open Twitch. And I don't know why I have Uplay installed, but hey-oh. But it's just, I don't see the big deal. Yes, there's plenty of missing features from the Epic Games Store. We're going to get into one of them in the next news story, but it's a new store. Like, they're implementing stuff. Like, we've already talked about how they've implemented their refund system. To be basically what you get on Steam anyway. I don't know. Like, it just, thoughts? I kind of railroaded the conversation a bit there.
I think we're going to touch on some of this, like, my thoughts in the next,
okay. So should I push pause on your thoughts? And then I'll read this, and then I'll let you give your thoughts. So the next news story, which is related to the first, Epic Games Store's opt-in review system aims to cut down on review bombing. This is from Shabana Arif over at VG247, who writes, Epic Games founder Tim Sweeney denies accusations that the Epic Store is silencing consumers. Sorry. I thought I was going to be able to keep a straight face trying to read that out loud. Anyway, the review system on Epic Storefront is currently based on the Unreal Engine marketplace, letting devs opt in. Quote, we think this is best because review bombing and other gaming the system is a real problem, end quote, Sweeney explained on Twitter, in response to accusations that the company was trying to silence consumers. He has a point, given that shortly after the announcement that Metro Exodus is going to be an Epic Store timed exclusive, Steam users proceeded to review bomb the entire series on the platform in protest. Both Metro 2033 Redux and Metro Last Light have had a high volume of negative reviews in the few days since the news broke. The Epic Games Store launched last month and has lured over a number of developers with its more generous revenue split. Quote, it's up to you guys to decide what's anti-consumer, but our aim with the Epic Games Store is to be very pro-competitive. In other words, to compete as a store and encourage healthy competition between stores. When lots of stores compete, the result is a combination of better prices for you, better deals for developers, and more investment in new content and innovation. These exclusives don't come to stores for free. They're a result of some combination of marketing commitments, development funding, or revenue guarantees. This all helps developers. Sweeney went on to say that multiple stores are necessary for the health of an ecosystem, which is why a number of developers have been super enthusiastic about Epic's Store. And here's another quote. For users, I get that it's yet another launcher, and if you have Steam installed, you'd prefer to just use it. But if you want way better games to be built in the future, then please recognize what good this store can do. Steam takes 30%, and Epic takes 12%. That's an 18% difference, and most devs make way less than an 18% profit margin. So this could be the difference between being able to fund a new game and going bankrupt. In the same thread, Sweeney confirmed that offline support is being added for the Epic Games launcher in early 2019. So I'll allow I was going to say I'll allow you to speak now. Like, that's not how Undynamic works. I just meant you can talk now.
So yeah, kind of lost my train of thought, but it's like, yeah, there seem to be so many people who are just review bombing, like the Metro games on Steam because they were being asked to pay less to use it on another launcher.
Much. Like, hey guys, the game's cheaper now. It's the same game. It's still gonna work just as well.
Unless you were in England, that was
because the same. But that's the thing. There's no difference, right? Like, if they put the price up in the UK or whatever, I'd be right there. Mm-hmm. Like, I wouldn't be review bombing because that's childish, immature, and just really fucking stupid. But I would be right there saying, like, hey, what's the deal? Like, you've done this thing and now you've put the price up. But they didn't. They're review bombing because they can't use Steam. Like, because they can't add the game to their Steam. Like, well, actually, you can. You can add non-Steam games to your Steam library and launch them via Steam. It's a thing. But, like, it's...
Discord lets you do that as well.
Yeah, like, there's a button. I've done it with games before. Review bombing, and just to talk about the topic of the actual news story, I mean, that's just ridiculous. And, I mean, it goes back to the whole thing of talking about Steam and saying Steam created algorithms that were supposed to be able to detect review bombing and stop it. Their words, not mine. And here we are.
Yeah. Funny how it's Metro is getting review bombed.
This is my point. Like, the competition is healthy. Like, he's right. A pro-competitive marketplace is healthy. And yeah, it might mean you have to install a few extra launchers, and yeah, it might mean your library's not all in one place. And yeah, it might mean you accidentally buy some games in a Steam sale 10 years down the line that you're already on Epic or Discord or Origin. Like, be more careful. But I mean, I've been there, I've done that. But
I just remember the day before DRM.
Yeah. No, you were right. You threw me off because you said it right for the first time in a long time.
You're I said
DRM, I was like, oh my god. Like, yeah. No, when you got a disc and you installed a game from a disc.
We had icons on our desktop.
Some of us still
or in a folder, which we went. Yeah, and it's
Like, I get it.
come on, it's not that hard.
It's really not.
I'm really
I'm
lazy.
just so lazy.
I mean,
You know.
yeah, it's
You can vouch for how lazy I am, just like I can
I
vouch for
don't,
how lazy you are.
I can't remember last time I opened the Origins launcher.
I
Um,
have literally not played a game purely because I can't be asked to get up and turn the console on. And it's not that far.
yeah,
Like, it's not, it's there. It's not that far away. But, like, turning the
yeah,
console on and changing the input on my monitor, and sometimes I'm just like, fuck, I can't be asked. I'll just watch Netflix instead. Like, literally. But you know what?
yeah,
Like, I can juggle, like, a few different, like, you should see what
yeah,
happens during a friggin' charity live stream when we have to juggle 5 different systems. Like, and that is hard work. But yeah, like I understand that the Epic Game Store is not fully featured. And I understand if you're disappointed that user reviews aren't a thing or that forums aren't a thing, but that's the platform. They're making those decisions because the developers wanted them. It's not like they're just deciding and decreeing that this is what we're going to do for a PC platform. They consulted with developers. Guess what? They had to because they were trying to make a system that would bring developers in. So they said, "What do you want out of a PC gaming platform?" And then they took the feedback and they went, "Okay, we'll do that then." And guess what? Division 2 is an Epic Game Store exclusive. Metro Exodus is an Epic Game Store exclusive. Ashen, Journey, like Hades,
yeah,
it's working. And yeah, we've already seen we're like gonna get more content out of games that are making more money, or in the case of Metro Exodus, if you live in the North America, it's gonna cost you less money. When was the last time the price of a game at RRP went down? Metro Exodus is a $60 game that isn't going to cost $60. That is mind blowing.
on
It
PC.
wasn't even that long ago we were talking on this podcast about how there were so many analysts and people saying that the price of games should go up. And now we're talking about the price of games coming down, so naturally everybody's review bombing the Metro series on Steam because games are getting cheaper. Because apparently that's anti-consumer. The more you dive down the rabbit hole, start pulling on threads and tying them together, the more this all sounds absolutely absurd. So I'm just gonna move on because I just can't. Cheaper games and better, like, oh fucking hell. Next up, we've got Quantic Dream teams up with Netease Games. This is from Colin Stevens over at IGN, who writes, Chinese giant Netease has acquired a minority stake in Quantic Dream, the developer behind Detroit Become Human and Heavy Rain. The official announcement states that this is to further the development and distribution of global online games. Quantic Dream will continue to operate independently under the direction of industry veterans David Cage, and the strategic investment aims to support the studio's vision of becoming a global multi-franchise entertainment company and to develop advanced technologies and games for the future. How the global online aspect of this statement applies to Quantic Dreams is currently unknown, as while its games have incorporated some online social elements in the past, they are largely offline story-based single-player experiences. With a strong focus on in-house development, we are constantly looking for partners that complement us in the development and creation of the next generation of games, said Ethan Wang, VP of NetEase. I'm just going to continue on down a bit to the bottom here, because they're all like, hey, we're so happy to be working with each other. The last 3 games developed by Quantic Dream, Detroit Become Human, Beyond Two Souls, and Heavy Rain, were all published by Sony and were PlayStation exclusives. With this announcement, it's unclear if Quantic Dream will continue this trend into the next console generation. Just thought that was interesting. It's been reported in a lot of places like Quantic Dream have gone third party, and it's like, maybe not necessarily.
Allegedly.
Like, not even allegedly. Like, all they've done is they've partnered with NetEase. Like, that doesn't necessarily... Like, NetEase have given them money and in return have a small stake of the company. Like, have you ever seen Dragon's Den? Like, because it's a very similar situation to what happens on Dragon's Den. And does this necessarily mean that they've gone third party? It could do. Maybe they're just replacing the money they would have got from Sony for being second party, but it also might not. It would be weird if, like, Quantic Dream being a Quantic Dream game being on an Xbox would be strange. Even though, like, Fahrenheit was on the original Xbox. But yeah, anyway. Keith, ready to talk about Nintendo?
Yeah.
Smash Brothers Ultimate is the fastest selling console game in Nintendo's entire history. This is from Matthew Handran over at GamesIndustry.biz, who writes, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate has sold faster than any other home console game in Nintendo's history. Nintendo revealed that Smash Bros.' debut on the Switch had sold 12.08 million units since it launched on December 7th, 2018. Just say that again. 12 million units since December 7th, 2018.
In just over a month.
According to Shintaro Furukawa, the company's president, that's the fastest start for any title on any Nintendo home console ever. Yeah, I can bloody believe it. Do you remember how many copies of Zelda? 1 million. Just in comparison.
Yeah.
I know there wasn't as many Switches out in the wild, but still. Just to compare that.
Yeah.
Indeed, in Japan, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate surpassed the lifetime sell-through of the most popular game in the series' history in just 4 weeks. Quote, the latest Super Smash Bros. Title is like a giant gathering of everyone who has ever had access to Nintendo games at any stage in their lives during the 35 years that Nintendo has been continuously producing video games, Furukawa told investors. As a result, we're seeing a change in our consumer demographics as people across a wide variety of age groups are all playing Super Smash Bros. I mean, let me just put this into perspective for you. Nintendo have sold, I don't have the number on the iPad, pretty sure Nintendo has sold 31 million Switches.
Yeah.
And they sold 12 million copies of Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Which is roughly, I'm not doing the precise math, but it's roughly about a 30% attach rate. I'm pretty sure Spider-Man doesn't have a 30% attach rate. I'm pretty sure there's no console exclusive.
It's like a third
in the current generation that has a console attach rate anywhere close to that. Like, even the biggest and best exclusives on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One probably don't even reach anywhere near 10%. And we've got Smash Brothers.
It's just over a third.
There you go. It's just over a third. Every single, everyone who owns a Switch, right, in the whole world, and a third of them own Smash Brothers. Like, fucking what?
Damn.
God, damn. I'm starting to get a bit nervous about my prediction about Pokemon being record breaking, because it's got to break some pretty big fucking records at this rate.
Pokemon's going to be a big game, but yeah, it's going to have to be
it's
massive.
Have to be meteoric. God damn. Like, you used to read about the Wii U when they used to do the MPDs and stuff, and like certain games like Mario Kart 8 and Smash Brothers for Wii U would have like 30 to 40% attachment rates, but that was kind of to be expected because Nintendo sold like 8 million consoles. So when they say like they sold 4 million, it's like the people who actually went out and bought the Wii U, because there weren't that many of them, bought it for these specific games. It makes sense that they have massively huge attachment rates, but Switch is a mainstream success, and it's still got that kind of attachment rate.
Yeah.
Like, my mind just exploded when I read this. Should we give him a standing ovation? I feel like we should be like giving him a stand. Sakurai did it, like.
Yeah. I mean, all of our like serious concerns about the people who worked on this
they
game,
still hold true. I'm still sure, like, Sakurai's like, I don't know if he's okay. I think he needs a hug, but yeah, I mean, fucking, he killed it. Clearly. Anyway, we're still talking about Nintendo. Which, this is a rumor. Nintendo to release revised version of Switch this fiscal year. This is from Nathan Anstad over at Game Informer, who writes, The Nikkei, a Japanese financial newspaper, which we haven't heard from for a while since the last time we were talking about leaks of a Nintendo console, is reporting, after much speculation, that Nintendo will release a revised version of the Switch sometime in its 2019 fiscal year. The fiscal year runs from April 1st, 2019 to March 31st, 2020, with the report suggesting it's slated for fall, but could find its way out as early as this summer. Few of the details were given about this revision other than it will be focusing more on the handheld aspect. Other features are supposedly going to be removed to help cut costs, but nothing concrete was offered as to which features would be getting removed. The rumours have suggested a slimmer frame and better battery, which sounds likely for a remodel of Nintendo hardware. And then, yeah. Nintendo hasn't commented on the report just yet. So, Nintendo Switch Lite is the name people are talking about. Here's the one I saw on Twitter that I'm going to champion. And you know what I'm like with console names? Remember the Xbox One X? So I'm championing...
Yeah.
You ready for this? It's a good one. Switcheroo. I mean, he'll probably call it the Nintendo Switch Lite or something. Or the Nintendo Switch S. Or something like that. Like, probably not S. But
Nintendo Free!
Nintendo Switch X.
Nintendo Switch Free.
But yeah.
D.
Switcheroo. You heard it here first. You probably didn't because I saw that on Twitter. I'm shamelessly stealing it. I didn't come up with that. I wish I did. But, yeah, no, like, what do you think? They're going to... I mean, this report's accurate, right? Right?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm just wondering what the cost is to make it lighter and give it a better battery.
Well, if they make it lighter and give it a better battery, but maybe it's a true handheld console, so it's not a hybrid. So there's no dock, for example. The controllers aren't detachable; they're just built into the unit. Maybe it'll be smaller as well, so the screen will be smaller. It'll just be like a light version of the console. That's the way I could see it going down anyway. There's no doubt that Nintendo are going to bring something out. Maybe they'll go in the other direction and it'll just be like the world's most powerful console. Suck it, Xbox.
I'm sick of seeing that advert on your...
I don't control them. If it makes you feel any better, I've seen the same Grand Tour ad for 6,000 times now, and I'm ready to just punch Jeremy Clarkson in the face. I was alright. I don't need an excuse. You're absolutely right. Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah.
Ubisoft sends out political email for The Division 2, a game that is definitely not political. This is from Luke Plunkett over at Kotaku. He writes, Ubisoft would like you to know that The Division 2, a game with a deeply political setting, is not a political statement. Which is weird, because earlier this week, the publisher sent out a political email about it. 2 emails in total were sent to fans of the game. The first was advertising the upcoming private beta, and while the content of the email was just regular hype cycle stuff, the subject line read, "Come see what a real government shutdown looks like in the private beta." Not a great choice of words. That's all opinion. It was in poor taste. That's all opinion, so I'm just going to follow it up. So a follow-up email was sent out a few hours later, which read, "Hello. A marketing email promoting Tom Clancy's The Division 2 was sent in error today. This was a grave breakdown in process, and we apologise for this error and the offensive subject line of the email. We recognise the very real impact of the United States government shutdown on thousands of people and did not intend to make light of the situation. From the Ubisoft team." It is very AAA video games that a game with such a bizarre aversion to owning its own politics ends up getting political via a grave breakdown in processes. That was opinion, but I found that line quite funny. Good job, Ubisoft. You did it. There are no political statements in this game that is set after a viral outbreak in the United States of America in Washington, D.C., where the base is in the White House, which is abandoned and in ruins. There is no possible way that this game could have any sort of political statement whatsoever, or be taken.
Yeah, didn't the trailer show like the trailer for the latest one at E3, didn't it show them fighting their way past the downed Air Force One towards Capitol Hill?
Yes, it did, but it's not a political game. Not at all.
No.
They could have said it anywhere in the world. They chose to set it in Washington, D.C., right outside the Capitol Hill and the White House, because they wanted to send a strong statement that this wasn't going to have a strong political statement, or being able to be interpreted as such. Which I can only assume is what led to the decision for them to make an absurdly strong, terrible political joke in an email. The terrible part was pure opinion on my part. It was a terrible joke. Like, ha, lol, government shutdown.
Indeed.
Anyway, there's a thing. I need to do a thing. I was hoping you might have had something more to say on that, and then I kind of took the reins. I need to check something, because this is basically a breaking story as we're happening. And I wanted to see if it was actually confirmed, which it definitely hasn't been. But here we go, Keith. This is a first, because you have no idea what I'm about to do, or say, read, or anything. But here we go. A free-to-play Titanfall Battle Royale game will be out soon. This is from Jason Schreier over at Kotaku, who writes, a new Titanfall spin-off is in the works, and it'll be out sooner than anyone could possibly guess. In fact, internet rumours and word from our own sources suggests that it'll be out this Monday. The game isn't officially announced just yet, but word leaked out this morning thanks to esports journalist Rod Breslau. As Breslau reported today, it's called Apex Legends and will be out on Monday for PC, Xbox, and PS4. It's a free-to-play battle royale that, interestingly, won't let you use the Titan mech suits that make Titanfall so iconic. You'll have supernatural, MOBA-like hero abilities and play either solo or in a team of 3 as you battle other players for delicious chicken dinners. We've heard all these same details. A tipster sent me some info about Apex Legends early last month. Quote, it plays like Titanfall mixed with Overwatch and Blackout from Call of Duty Black Ops 4. End quote. They even told me at the time, and from what we've heard, publishers EA held an event for streamers and YouTubers this week to show off the game, which is likely how the news leaked. Here's another interesting tidbit. As I was reporting on EA's purchase of Titanfall developer Respawn in the fall of 2017, a move that was forced by a Nexon bid for the studio and may have been directly connected to the closure of Visceral, I heard from a Respawn source that Titanfall 3 was well into development and the studio had been looking to release it by the end of 2018. The rationale, the source said, was that the game's underlying technology was starting to feel dated and that Titanfall 3 might not feel or look as good if it came out much later. Like the previous 2 Titanfall games, Titanfall 3 used a modified version of Valve's Source Engine. Did not know that. But then anyway, yeah. So Titanfall 3 might actually be coming out at the end of the year. Sorry to do that to you, Keith, but I think you can understand why I was holding that back until the very last minute.
Yeah. A Titanfall game where you don't get Titans.
I mean, the core gameplay of Titanfall is rock solid.
It is, and I think that the mobility and everything you have in that game is superb. It's just sticking the Titanfall thing on it. It's like, yeah, I can kind of get that, but still, it coming out Monday.
Coming out on Monday. I read this last night. So I was reading it last night, and the leak at the time, because Kotaku hadn't published their article until an hour ago, that's why I decided to go with it, because Jason Schreier published an article about it, so I was like, shit, this might be legit. Was that they were going to announce it on Saturday, which is obviously the day we're recording the podcast. So I was holding it back thinking, okay, if they announce it, I'll put it in. And then I was like, well, Kotaku's picked it up, so I put it in. By the time this podcast goes live, there's a chance it could already be out.
No marketing.
No marketing, but it's a free-to-play game with a franchise name on it. I'm not that bit doesn't trip me up because free-to-play games, they're free. Like, they do their own marketing by being free. But there's a little bit of a sense of deja vu in that they're doing it to Titanfall again because it's coming out 13 days before Anthem.
Now, just murder a franchise.
Well, Apex Legends has one advantage that Titanfall 2 didn't have, in that Anthem's a $60 game and Apex Legends is free. Whereas, obviously, all the games that came out when Titanfall 2 got slaughtered were $60. Yeah. So, it's not quite the same situation, but I find it funny that there's certain similarities. But, I mean, if it's true when it's out on Monday, I'm going to play it. I love Titanfall.
Yeah.
I love Respawn. But then there's the interesting...
If it comes out and if it fails, I'm just wondering who at EA did someone at Respawn hurt? And how?
Even if it fails, right? Because this is EA going, we don't have a battle royale. Let's make one. Because Activision's got one. And then, shit, what can we do? Well, we could do Battlefield. Battlefield's having a battle royale, so we're already doing that. But we want one out now. Battlefield's going to be the $60 premium blackout style battle royale. Can we go both ways and get the Fortnite? Try and get the Fortnite money as well. Not they won't get the Fortnite money, but a portion of even 5% of the Fortnite money is enough to justify the costs of making it. It's could we do a free to play as well? What other brands do we have? Titanfall. But
it is basically just a game for play a PvP game. That's what it is. The solo campaign on Titanfall 2 was amazing.
Indeed.
But it is designed for multiplayer.
It is. I played the shit out of Titanfall, which didn't have a single player campaign when it came out. I fucking love Titanfall. Yeah. Titanfall 2 got buried because it got buried. It just did. But I mean, there's the tidbit at the end of the article. Titanfall 3 might not be that far away. EA don't currently have a first-person shooter for this fall, and that's unusual because they've had first-person shooters every fall for the last few years. Sometimes more than one. So, fingers crossed, this could just be one of 2 Titanfall games coming out this year.
Yeah. I mean, I like the idea of Titanfall 3 coming this, yeah.
Yeah, and it makes sense too. It actually makes sense that Titanfall 3 would fill the gap because I don't think they're going to bring out Battlefront. I don't think that's in their possibility spectrum. Because people are still talking about Battlefront 2 for all the wrong reasons. But anyway, let's move on. We've got a couple of Capcom ones here. They shouldn't take too long. Capcom shipped 3 million units of Resident Evil 2. This is from Matthew Handran over at GamesIndustry.biz, who writes, Capcom has shipped 3 million units of Resident Evil 2 in the high-profile Remake's first week on sale. Resident Evil 2 launched on PC, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4 on January 25th, and it has been met with high demand. In a statement released today, Capcom confirmed that it has shipped 3 million units of the game worldwide. The signs that Capcom had another hit after the huge success of Monster Hunter World had been there since the game's showing at E3 2018, where it picked up Best of Show at the Game Critics Awards. Blah, 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 stuff. Yeah, pretty much. 3 million doesn't sound that impressive after reading the Smash Brothers article, I'm not going to lie. It is. No. It's incredibly impressive, but...
yeah.
I mean, congratulations. It was a success. It's a fantastic game. There's a reason we were both talking about it at the beginning of the podcast, and I'm pretty sure it's your second Resident Evil. You played the original on Saturn.
I played half of the original on the Sega Saturn. And I played the beginning half an hour. Well, probably the beginning 7 minutes for anyone who's ever played it before. But yeah. I met Marvin.
Hey, Marvin. Fucking hate Marvin. The second part of the story, or the second story, is Capcom eager to remake Resident Evil 3 if fans demand it. This is from Imran Khan over at Game Informer, who writes, in an interview with Japanese website GameWatch and translated by Gearnuke, Resident Evil 2 producer Yoshiaki Hirabayashi was asked about the possibility of Resident Evil 3 now that its predecessor has been released. Hirabayashi explains that they only did Resident Evil 2 because fans have been asking for it for so long, so they need fan permission to do Resident Evil 3. I mean, if Resident Evil 3 isn't already in some stage of development, I'll be shocked. I will be shocked. Mr. X in Resident Evil 2 Remake is pretty much just like the way they've done him in that game, because he's radically different to the way he was in the original Resident Evil 2. The only reason he's in the game the way he is because they were testing out how they could make Nemesis work. And you don't even need to think fan reaction. You don't even need to look at the fan reactions of going, yes, let's remake Resident Evil 2. You just need to look at all the Mr. X memes. Mr. X is the most popular character in the game. Mr. X gave it to me. And yeah.
I watched the video of the person who put the music to it and just walks off after Mr. X just jumps off the balcony and lands.
To be fair, you never taunt someone in a video game because they'll probably fuck you up. But yeah, no. X gonna give it to you. Like, Resident Evil 3 is already in development. No one will be able to convince me otherwise. Even if Capcom came to my house, knocked on my door, and told me Resident Evil 3 is not in development, I'd be like, I don't believe you. Pixar, it didn't happen. Like, they could fly me out there and they could take me on a tour of the entire office and be like, see, no one's working on Resident Evil 3. Still won't believe them. I'd be like, where's your secret office? Where's the trap door that leads to where you're keeping all the people who are making Resident Evil 3? Because this is happening.
Well, you have to collect the free crisps behind the water fountain.
And when I get down there, like, Mr. X is like gonna kill me because they don't want news of Resident Evil 3 again. Now, it's already in development. It is.
If it wasn't before Sales Week launch, it wasn't.
Like, there's just no way they're not remaking 3. So, yeah. So there. Keith, I've just locked my iPad. Shit. No.
Can't help me there.
I was just about to read the thing. I was going to go, Keith, Overwatch gets a permanent price cut. This is from Rich Stanton over at Kotaku. He writes, the juggernaut that is Blizzard's Overwatch shows no signs of slowing down. And the company is keeping that momentum going by cutting the price of the PC version to £16.99. It was previously $29.99. The game doesn't appear to have similarly dropped in price on the PlayStation or Xbox stores yet. I mean, someone predicted Overwatch would go free to play. I'm pretty sure there's a bet involved, and I don't think you cut the price if you're going to make it go free to play within the next 12 months. Because that would just piss anyone who buys it at the low price off.
Yeah. I almost bet on that one because I was like, no, they're not going to make it free to play. They're not going to make it free to play because. But yeah.
Someone did. I think it might have been Russell. I feel like it wasn't me. I didn't make the prediction. That wouldn't be that crazy. But I feel like they definitely needed to do something to drive sales. And a price cut will do that.
I would imagine they'll go down price in consoles.
Eventually. There's probably tons of logistical and bureaucratic reasons why it hasn't yet.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I haven't actually checked today, so you never know. It's probably already is, but it's cool. I might be able to convince some more people to play it. I mean, every podcast has a diva jacket in the background. And Keith is often wearing a Moira jacket. So that should tell you everything you need to know about how Overwatch is regarded on the Words About Gamescast.
I'm looking forward to that Parisian map come Valentine's Day because I've got no other plans.
Samesies. We'll have an Overwatch date. It'll be fun. Keith, we're only going to do one of the two funny news stories. Sorry. To be fair, one of them is not really that funny. But the one that is that a French man has been sentenced to 4 months in prison for replacing PS4 price tag with a $10 fruit stinker. This is from Nathan Grayson over at Kotaku. I didn't just almost call Nathan Drake. Sorry. Sometimes it is better to let dreams be dreams. A 19-year-old man from Nice, France, learned that the hard way when he got the wild idea to take a PlayStation 4 off the shelf of a supermarket, walk to the fruit section, weigh it, print out a price tag sticker, put it on the box, and then buy the console for the price of a £6 bag of produce. French publication Le Républicain reports that, how's that accent though? Reports that the young man, named Adele, was recently sentenced to 4 months in prison for pulling off the great PlayStation fruit heist of 2018 back in September. Normally, he would have had to pay €340, or around $389, but his produce centre ruse brought the price down to €9, or just over $10. He used a self-checkout line, which probably helped him avoid employee scrutiny, and he went on to sell the partially purloined PlayStation for €100, or $114, in order to pay for a train ticket. Adele did try to do the same thing again the next day, only to get caught by police. Late last week, he did not appear in court in Montbéliard, France, and was sentenced to 4 months in prison, though the sentence is suspended, so he'll only have to serve it if he reoffends. At this point, he probably wishes he just bought a banana. I mean, what supermarket keeps PlayStations out for people to just pick up and take? Ones in France, apparently. Like, Jesus, like, I was thinking, like, damn, I can't believe I've never heard of anyone doing this before, because it's kind of like, it's genius, right? It's not, it's crime, but, you know, it's inventive crime. The fact that he went back and did it again negates the genius part.
It's an incredibly common crime.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely, but never the PlayStation 4. Because then I thought, well, there's nowhere in Britain you can't walk into any shop and just pick a PlayStation 4 up. You can pick a box up.
Yeah. A lot of them are bundled with games that should be ID checked anyway.
Yeah, so. True. But yeah, it's like, I mean, you shouldn't have gone back, dude. Like, cut your losses, man. Not cut your losses. The other one. Yeah, that one. Yeah. Quit while you're ahead. Thanks, Keith. I think there's a reason I had you here. There are many reasons I have you here. Like, this show would not function properly without you. Yeah, that's right, everybody else. I'm calling you guys out. Keith's my number one guy. And none of you's ever even watched this far into the podcast, so you won't even know that I said it, except I'm going to put it in the group chat when we're done with a timestamp. Probably not, because I won't know the time, but I'll put it in the group chat. Anyway, Keith's game's out this week, time.
Yeah.
Do you want to go first?
I do, because the second game's release date is confusing. So, out on February the 5th is Riot Civil Unrest for the PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch, otherwise known as the Full House.
Out on February 5th, or 7th, or 8th, depending on what console you buy it on. No, I don't know which one's which. I copy and pasted this from VG247. Is Away, Journey to the Unexpected on PS4, Switch, Xbox One, and PC. Take your pick as to what day. Just buy it on the 8th. Alright? Just buy it on the 8th.
Fear the Wolves officially launches on PC on February the 6th.
Salt and Sanctuary officially launches on Xbox One on February 6th. God, I haven't played that game for years.
Astroneer also launches on the 6th for PC and Xbox One.
There's also... I'll do the last two. There's also a Division 2 private beta on PC, PS4, and Xbox One on February 7th. And God Eater 3 comes out on PC and PS4 on February 8th.
Remember, The Division is not political
not
in any way, shape, or form.
There's no political imagery or thoughts gone into this game at all. The idea of people, surviving after a virus has decimated the population and splitting off into factions, and maybe those factions, they don't have any thoughts or feelings or opinions. They're just random bands of people who just want to try to have some food. They don't have any agendas, no matter what they try to tell you.
There is no agenda in a post-apocalyptic world.
Also,
there's an agenda.
Resident Evil 3 is definitely in development. Keith, that's going to do it for episode 144 of the Words About Games cast. Have you had a good time tonight? Good.
Yeah.
Glad. It's not all doom and gloom anymore. 2019 might be okay. That's my new catchphrase, and I'm sticking to it. I mean, yeah, sure, we opened the show with 47 DMCA strikes against another YouTuber from a Russian developer, but, it can't all be good news. We ended with someone buying a PlayStation 4 for €9 because he had the genius idea to weigh it as a piece of fruit. So, It swings and roundabouts. Say bye, Keith.
Bye bye.